Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about our round 2 at Holler in the Hills. The event took place back on
May 16th.
This was a doubles event and it was best shot doubles. Jennifer, why don't you tell them a little bit more about the doubles event?
Well, just like you said, it was a best shot doubles. Some places play doubles a little bit differently, you know, like it's an alternate shot or it's worst shot, which is not the funnest thing to play. But we played best shot, so we both take turns throwing like normal, and then we take the better of the two shots between the two of us. And it might not be the best shot, but you know, wherever the best lay is, that's what we're going to play from. We always play where I actually tee off first and I putt first. So we kept that strategy. Some people play differently. You know, they have different ways with their partners that they like to do, or they like to putt first if they have the better shot, you know, whatever the case may be. But I'm usually tee off first and putt first.
Right. This event was, well, you'll see. It was very entertaining. So a little bit about Holler in the Hills. You can look at the course map. It might be kind of hard to see on the screen. It's the only one I could find of the map. The bottom right does have 4 holes that are letter holes. We did not play those. I don't believe they're in the new design, but they might be. Some people that have played there more often than me would probably know. But holes 1 through 18 that are marked, you can look through those, and it's basically the exact same shots. The only difference might be the basket might be in a different location, but realistically, this map I'm pretty sure is pretty dead spot on. So, all right. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys, and enjoy the round.
This is going to be a channel that we are going to discuss mostly disc golf.
She's done. Get up.
Professionals.
This is the way I live. Little boy still with the big wheels. I stack my money, lay low and chill. Don't need to work hard, that's the way I feel.
All right, guys, so we are starting off at Holler in the Hills. I did miss Ronnie and Brandon's tee shot. They're pretty close to the basket. Jennifer, of course, like I said, throws first, so she's going to throw her Lucid Justice. She puts it on a big ante, hoping that because we're uphill, it'll flex back, but she snapped it a little too hard, and it never flexed. I'm throwing a TDX, same concept, trying to throw it on an ante and just let it flex back. The hole is only 260 feet. It is a par 3. It is twoable. That's not a problem. But, of course, in doubles, you never want to take anything worse than a 3. Jennifer, of course, lays up on top of this boulder that it's sitting on top of. As you can see, I'm wiping away sweat because it was 85 degrees that day. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm basically just going to try to run it because she is parked. Unfortunately, I did not know how to throw. I'm just kidding. I was out of breath. I'm not even going to lie. This course killed me. It was about 10 miles over the course of the 2 rounds. As you can see, Ronnie and Brandon, that's where their drive landed, so it was a good spot to be. Unfortunately, though, even though it looks like a 40-foot putt, it probably felt like 80 just because it was uphill. And again, all of us were a little exhausted that day because of it. So you can see, you know, they give it a good run, but we're both going to walk to the top of the hill and tap in our putts.
All right, now we're on to hole 13. It's 270 feet, par 3. This one is pretty much, it's a little bit straight and then it hangs a little bit to the left. So, you know, it's pretty clean straight through the fairway. And Ronnie and Brandon are throwing first, so you can kind of see Ronnie's shot was pretty much exactly where you wanted to go. Brandon didn't have as much luck on his throw. And like our plan, I shot first, so I'm sitting here throwing my max because I had actually lost my justice on this exact hole the last round, and I was not about to try and do that again. So I thought I would try the max and just see if I could get it to flex out a little bit. It didn't work out nearly as well as I wanted to. It ended up going on the left side at the little hill over there, but that's why you got partners, because now it's Sam's turn to show me what he can do. And he actually shot really well on this hole. Like, he threw it the way that you're supposed to. So, as you can see, just out of the hands, real nice and clean. And it follows that line all the way down the fairway. And you'll see that's where we both landed. Both of our shots were awesome. So, we're both shooting for birds here. Probably about, I'd say probably about 20 feet out or so, you know, give or take a few. So, there's Ronnie tapping in his birdie, and then here I am gearing up to pick my putt and banging it in for a 2.
Yeah, so the next hole, you just turn left and kind of go up a little boulder. It looks really weird because I'm actually putting the camera underneath the tee pad, and that's because it's on top of a boulder, and you're throwing at another boulder. So this hole's only 150 feet, but it does sit on the side of a hill. So if you throw anything with like a hyzer, it is going to go towards the hill. You're going to see where our shots landed. I threw a putter. Jennifer threw a justice as well, just a simple flex. Ronnie and Brandon, you can see, they did, again, land a little short. But again, in doubles, you kind of just want to lay up, take a 2 or a 3. Or a 3. You never want to get a bogey. Unfortunately, he takes this great putt, and he's trying to play it smart, land it by the hill boulder, and you can just see it roll down the hill. That's where my putt had landed, where Jennifer is standing. We were going to go ahead and tap out so we can move up to the top and try to get a good spot for the camera. So they were trying to debate on who's going. So you can see Jennifer throwing it literally straight up like 10 feet from underneath the boulder, and boom, Ronnie and Brandon, they were putting pretty good. They did the same thing.
Yeah, it was the most awkward putt, really, ever, straight up the hill. So now we're on hole, I believe this is 15. Yeah, hole 15. This is 210 feet. It hugs the right corner. So, like, as you can see, I threw a fluid enforcer, and I was actually trying to go on that inside line in between those trees, and it actually worked out really well for me, which you'll see here in a minute. Sam was just trying to do a turnover shot, which did not work out as well as he wanted to. It stabled out on him and kind of went into this long grass that's a little bit further out. But it's not an ungettable hole, I guess you could say, but it's there's a few lines there, and if you don't hit it, you're hitting a tree and just going straight down. But it is gettable. As you can see, Ronnie and Brandon kind of landed on the other side of a little boulder, which there's nothing behind the basket besides that big, mountainside, cliffside. So even if you were to go long, the worst thing that could happen is your disc could, stand up and roll a little bit. But other than that, you're pretty much safe if you, want to attempt it. So we're watching them get their putts, which, they're both made a run at it, and they're within tapping distance. So, they'll definitely walk away with 3 on this one. But, as you can see, that's where my drive ended up going, which was pretty awesome because my first round drive did not go anywhere near this. So I was pretty happy. Sam's little UK Mini to mark our disc, my fluid enforcer. So I'm probably about 20, 25-ish out probably, maybe give or take.
Thanks, babe.
And, so we're sitting here putting for 2. And where I go first putting, I'm going to be, you'll see my keystone here in a minute. But, spoiler alert, I make it. Let me walk away with a birdie.
Yeah, we actually had a pretty good streak on the last few holes. Our goal was to shoot not worse than we did in the first round. So always improve the second round. We did play this course blind, and it is a slight, quote-unquote, redesign, even though I'm pretty sure a lot of things are the same, just maybe the placements were moved a little bit. So hole 16 here, I'm throwing an EMAC Truth. And if you can see in front, so there's a tree to the right of me and then a tree that's kind of hidden in front of me. There's a Mando marked on those. You're supposed to throw between them. The first round, there was a little confusion because we did play this during Corona. There was the locals who kind of knew what the Mando were. And then there's people that just came from out of town like we did and didn't really know the Mandos. And the reason is the T sign said no Mando, and then the 2 trees were marked Mando. So the first round we did play Mando, and then we were told the second round to not worry about the Mando, just to play the hole as it is. I did not mean to throw to the right of that tree. I'm going to tell you, if anyone finds that disc, please let me know. There is a reward for it. It's a pre-Mac Truth, and I have an ace on it, so it is signed with a bunch of names on the back. So if you find it, just let me know. You're not going to see Jennifer's tee shot. I had to switch. I believe this is the hole that I switched the camera batteries out on. Hers did hit the left Mando tree and just stayed right there. So she didn't miss the Mando, but we were parked right there. So you're going to see Ronnie and Brandon hit. I was trying to find it. I had no idea where it went. I did play taps. I was a little sad. But they throw and, have the same kind of struggles that we did, just hitting the tree. It's not a hard gap to hit. The problem is you want to throw with some ante down this hill, so that way it'll flex out and land. Because the basket's literally just straight ahead. It's 350 feet, but it's downhill. So it's a putter shot or something like I threw with the truth. The downside about the shot they had to take, because again, same thing, they couldn't find their partner's disc, is they were on his disc landed on the side of this boulder, and they were trying to find footing. There was moss on it. It wasn't a wet round, but the humidity and everything like that, just everybody was kind of tired. So we had troubles getting footing on that one, so we did give him a little bit of time to throw. It wasn't the easiest shot, but you can see his shot got down there pretty easily and through the trees. I will tell you, we took a 4. We actually had to walk all the way back that hill because we couldn't find mine. We were going to take mine. We threw from Jennifer's. Jennifer actually threw a really good approach shot, which was nice, but we missed our putt and took a 4, and they take a 3. But you can kind of see, I mean, they're stretching as best they can and just throwing whatever.
I'm not gonna lie, first I thought you threw red.
All right, so now we're on to hole 17. We were told that this is actually called the poop chute hole, just because there's actually an open septic tank down the ways to the left. This is a par 3 again, 310 feet. You can actually see kind of the pathway. It actually, you go down the hill and then it goes up. The basket's up the hill, which pretty much was the general notion for most of this course today of that day we played. I'm throwing one of my X-Cows, and it flew pretty well. It did what I wanted it to do, but it ended up hitting a tree and kind of wrapping around and going back in the center. I mean, we all actually had pretty decent shots on this hole. It was pretty much, we pretty much were in a straight line. Sam threw great on this hole both rounds. So we, of course, took his shot here because he was closer to the basket, because usually you want to go for the person that's closer. So we're probably about 15, 20 out again. And, of course, with me being the one that's putting first, I go up there after, catching my breath for a second and bang my keystone in for a bird.
Yeah, so hole 18, in theory, it's the last hole, but we start on 12. So it's a 310 feet as well. It's a downhill shot. So most people, again, are throwing putters or something a little slower just to get down the hill. Both of these guys throw really good shots. Jennifer goes and throws, again, with the justice. She throws, and, I mean, we were pretty sure it was going to hit metal. There's actually a stack of rocks underneath the basket. She hits it and goes about 30, 35 long. And about 50 feet long is OB. I go and I take my gatekeeper. I threw it too high, and I made that same mistake the first round too, and it just kind of went and glid. I don't know. It just went. All right, so Ronnie and Brandon are basically making a run at it. Again, in doubles, you never lay up. Always run it. They both get it within 5 feet. This is Jennifer's drive, which was... it was a great drive for us. It's a putt that we're both comfortable with. You can kind of see she's trying to keep her hand dry, but not, too dry because it was very humid. Unfortunately, she does short arm it and looks at her arm, which she used her birdie bag. And I go and putt, and same thing. I just act like I had never putted a day in my life, and we missed. The good thing is we didn't lose a stroke to them on this card, on this hole, so we both take 3s, and we walk on to hole number 1.
Yeah, so hole number 1, you're walking back to where everyone's parked, and hole 1 is 250 feet. It's pretty much straight down the fairways, and it hugs slightly left, but it is fairly open, but at the same time there is a tight window because you've got all that overgrown shrubbery to the left, and then you've got some smaller trees to the right. And if any of you have played for a long time, you hit that tree, you ricochet, you're going way down there. So I was just trying to figure out what I could throw that might be able to, fade slightly left from me or maybe a little bit more stable. I was trying to throw my force just to see if it would get down there because I was basically just trying to keep it straight. Sam tried to do the same thing. His hit one of those lovely trees that I was talking about and kind of went down the hill some. So we ended up taking mine, which ended up being a pretty decent lie, if I do say so myself, for a shot like that. So I was just trying to, get it up there as close as I could. That way, if he wanted to run at it, he could. So, I went first. Here he goes. He's getting ready to throw his shot. And he was running it, so of course he's going to fly past it because he was, giving it what he could. just in hopes that we'd bang it in there. So, but we're right there next to the basket. Ronnie and Brandon, they had a good shot. They had a good run at it, and he actually, I think, didn't he hit metal or cage, and he hit the band and rolled away. So it was kind of unfortunate because he had a good run at it. Then Brandon, I think he just, threw it up there just to be close. Yeah, he was just laying up there. So me and Brandon are both tapping in real easy just for our pars. So we both took threes on that card, on that one.
Yeah, so the next hole, of course, this hole 2, it's 270 feet. Kind of a tight gap, but once you get out there, it's pretty well in the open. The basket does sit about maybe 15 feet from an embankment and then into the water. And they actually, I don't know the guy's name, but there was a guy there spotting all day, jumping in the water, getting our disc back. He was collecting tips. I'm pretty sure he made my 1 week salary just in spotting this hole. So they had good drives, to be honest. This hole, you don't want to push it too close to the edge, but you also want to make sure you're close enough that you don't feel like you're giving it a run. Jennifer's thrown her X-Cal here and gave it a beautiful run. You'll actually see where hers landed up. She didn't put any pressure on me. I actually would have thrown my Truth that I lost earlier in the day, so I had to throw a different one.
Still looked good.
And I just hung it too low. It was pretty well straight. You can kind of see she's got the camera showing off her keystones. She just picked those up about 3, 4, probably earlier in the year. So I say 3 or 4 months because that's how long we've been playing disc golf with them. But you can see my Truth. I was about 30, 40 out. And then, of course, her X-Cal, boom, is parked. And, it was a great shot. And you can see, it's probably not even 10 feet. There's a cliff over there. And it's, not easy getting up and down. So.
Sam wanted to putt. He didn't let me finish it out. He wanted to putt so bad.
Sure didn't have the camera.
All right, so now we're moving on to hole 3. This is a par 4, 740 feet. This one actually is, it's not a bad hole. You have these trees, as you can see in the center. There is OB left, and then there is the creek is OB as well, right? That was
right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and then you've got this row of trees, which there is openings in that tree, but they're you have to get pretty low, or you just have to balance in between 2 of them and throw up there, just because it's a tight little hole to get in there. I was in a good spot where I could throw out, so it wasn't a problem. But then Sam just unleashes his disc, and he managed to fight past through those trees, which I think all of us on the card were just like, how in the world did you manage that? Like being as tired as he was, and he was able to chuck it out there past that tree line, like you couldn't ask for a better shot. So this is where Sam landed. And the basket is that tree that's right in the center. It's actually, I don't know, gosh.
Another good 150 feet.
Yeah, at least another 150 foot in there. And the creek is pretty much right next to the basket. So, if you miss your putt and you roll, you're going OB. So I threw my X-Cal just because I knew I could get it to wrap around that tree and land where we wanted to, at least having a shot at that'd be a birdie actually, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
For a 3. Sam ended up hitting that tree, unfortunately, and kind of rolled out. So we did not take his shot, obviously. Ronnie and Brandon, I think that was their 3rd shot.
This is this part's kind of funny. You'll see here in a second. So he picks up his disc, and then he gets handed his disc, and then he just throws it. He was so mad at that shot.
Yeah, he said he didn't want that disc anymore. He said it wasn't doing what it was supposed to anymore, so he just chucked it. So Brandon and Ronnie threw their shot. So this is where my upshot from Sam's lie ended up going, which I kind of wish it would have gone a little bit more to the left in the opening, or maybe skipped, but it could have skipped into the tree. I couldn't tell. So as you can see, the basket is just wrapped around that hanging kind of low tree there. So my thought is just to try and
actually it'll probably be dry, as hot and humid as it is.
I'm doing the patent pending stance. I'm just trying to get it up there as close to the basket as I can, because I don't want it. I don't want it to roll away, but then I also don't want to risk us having to shoot for putting at something that is not going to be feasible for us. So, then Sam was kind of, I don't know, I guess were you half running at it, I guess?
Yeah,
because I was up there.
Yeah, we didn't want to lose another disc. We probably would have lost one, but it didn't make sense to give it a bid, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. So here's Ronnie, and he made a good run at it. Just unfortunate. miss. He was all over it.
Yeah, we were just trying to
They
find
had
something
they had a
to do, and
couple
we're like,
unlucky breaks with their putts
play.
sometimes. Like they were right on it, and they would just hit low cage or
get it.
or high like that. So this is where I ended up with my layup, which I wish I was a little bit closer,
Good
but
putt.
sometimes you can't putt scared. You just got to go for it.
Yeah. So this hole was a lot of fun. So this is hole 4. It's 368 feet. You can kind of see a shed in the middle of the right of the side. So it's past that. It's a big forehand shot or a big ante shot. What was kind of funny is Jennifer threw first, and Ronnie and Brandon, their goal was just to beat her. And then I throw, and my shot was a little bit closer than hers, but they both were good shots for the hole. We get up here, and we were joking with them because they actually, Brandon, I believe, is the one that actually threw a shot that matched what Jennifer threw, and they were really excited about it. So we kind of joked with them about it because, they were like, oh, we want to throw like her and throw, get the distance. So all right.
Good throw, guys.
So you can see this is where our drives landed. Jennifer's the one on the right that was yellow, and that was there. That was orange. They still were probably, I'd say 80, maybe 90 out. It might have been a little further than that. It's hard to tell distance on these videos, and of course we didn't mark them or anything. So this was a really good bid. He hit the top of the basket and just sailed a little bit. So they did go about 20 past. And then, of course, partner golf. So he runs it, and same thing, just hits a little low. I basically had a pretty good drive both rounds. We landed kind of close to here. And, of course, Jennifer's putting first, getting her keystones ready to go. This putt was a little bit longer than we're comfortable with, so it's about 35 feet. Of course, she gives it a bid, hits chains. She was really excited. She thought she had got it, but unfortunately, the chains didn't catch. Then it's my turn, I'm trying to be Mr. Clutch. So I go up here and get ready with my crown and do what I do best. I miss. Yep, can't tell you what I did there. Just missed. So we both end up taking threes on that hole.
Okay, yeah, I was like, I think you were tired because like you had the confidence, but I think where you were so fatigued at the same time, you were pressing a little bit.
Out of shape.
All right, so now we're on to hole 5, 175 feet, and this is the one that's over the pond, right? Yeah, this one's the one that's over the pond. The pond is OB, obviously. The basket is just literally right on the edge. So I really was not trying to lose any more discs today or that day. So I was just trying to go with one of my discs that I know would fade hard right for me if I, stay stable enough, but then be a little bit overstable towards the end. And I ended up I believe I threw my Pioneer on that one, which ended up going a little bit long, but it was over the pond, which, that was my main goal, was like not to lose any discs, at least in the pond. Ronnie and Brandon actually lucked out because I think it was Brandon's shot that actually skipped over the water, I think. Was it his shot that ended up skipping, or was that? Yeah, because it was like literally right on the edge. Like, yeah, we were a little bit further out than we would have liked to, but, we couldn't also just not somewhat try for it, I guess.
Yeah, the water was past it, but it wasn't deep enough that we couldn't have gotten it back if we missed.
Yeah, we had to give it kind of a half go at least. If we got lucky, great. If we didn't, we know that at least it was going to be right there next to the basket, which we didn't end up rolling too bad. I think yours went a little bit further, but you were going at it, and that was me putting with my keystone to clean up on a 3.
Yep. So hole 6, they call this the bus hole. You're throwing around a bus. You cannot go to the left of that bus, by the way. You have to go to the right. The reason I say you can't go left is because that's where the forest meets the bus. So the first round we did that, and it did not. We took a 4. It was a bad idea. So this time we do try to go to the right of the bus. And this hole's really not that long. This one's only 265. So, I'm throwing a mid. Jennifer, I believe, was throwing her Justice again on a big ante. And just trying to get it to sit down. We both kind of make the mistake of not getting it high enough to where it could get over the bus, and we do end up landing short. So again, you can see me. I'm trying to throw to the right of the bus, but just didn't make it. The good thing is in doubles, we were able to throw some pretty, I guess you'd say, runs at the basket and try to save the 2. But unfortunately, we both did take a 3 on here. We did lose, I believe, Ronnie and Brandon, you'll see here in a second. They had a really, really good drive. Our drive was not bad, but definitely not in the spot you want to be. I mean, we're basically just giving them runs to where we can try to do it. But you can see, I mean, they were 15 feet past the basket and an easy to clean up.
Yeah, I almost missed it though.
yeah. Luckily it's partner golf, but it was definitely a good two for them. And I believe that hole put us tied.
Yeah, I think so.
With them. So we were pushing back and forth most of the round.
All right, so now we're on to hole 7, 340 feet. This is a par 3. This is one that's got those trees there to the right that you see next to the little barn area. It's actually OB to the right of those up to the very last tree, which is down halfway to the fairway. This one is actually located, it's dead nut straight, but then it hangs to the right, and it's protected by some guardian trees there at the end. But it's doable. I actually threw my outlaw the first round, and that's the disc I ended up losing, so I was kind of bummed out. But this one, I'm using my X-Cow, just trying to get it to fade in there a little bit. I threw it out a little bit too wide this time, but I wasn't mad at my shot by any means. It still did what it was supposed to, and we actually still had a look at the basket. It was a little bit further out than I wanted it to be, but just in case, Sam messed his shot up, but we at least had another look at it. So that was my shot. Came out pretty clean. And then Sam's shot, he actually shot really well. We lost it for a little while, so we weren't sure where it was actually going to be until we got up to it.
Oh, God, where'd it go, though?
I got someone's part.
This was Ronnie and Brandon's drive, and as you can see, they actually had a pretty good drive themselves. We just have, as you can see around the basket, there's just some small little trees, and as we like to call them, iron leaf or iron branches that can just knock a disc in another direction. And unfortunately, this is what happened with Ronnie, because he actually had a really good run at it, and that branch that was just sticking out just knocked his disc down. But they both had pretty good looks at it, and you couldn't be mad at a shot like that, especially on a hole like this. I know that they were looking for the bird, but sometimes you just have to take it for what it is. It's the perks of disc golf. We did end up finding Sam's disc, actually. He actually had a really killer drive. So there's the basket, and there's his white disc right there. And, of course, I had to let him take his own birdie just because, you cannot finish that shot without, knowing you have that clean of a drive. Got to at least let you finish that shot out. And,
How about you feel about that, though?
as you exhaustingly walk away.
Yeah, I was dead tired. All right, so this one was hole 8. It's 227 feet. It's really not a hard hole. There is a mando on the first tree on the left, so you do have to throw to the right of it. Jennifer, of course, throwing her justice, and it just pans out really nice. She gives us a really good effort. I'm taking my gatekeeper again, just something a little slower that I can, pretty well throw it on the line, and it's just going to hold whatever line I put it on. I do hit a tree and kick to the right, so it wasn't the greatest look. We would have probably had the same outcome, to be honest, but she was definitely closer. And same thing, Brendan and Ronnie, partner golf. Partner throws a bad shot, so Mr. Clutch up here coming and throwing probably one of the better tee shots we had seen. I mean, he just throws it dead straight, and it had to barely miss a basket. I mean, we're talking just a few feet. You can see it kind of slid down the hill, but they do save the two. Jennifer, of course, right here behind this giant tree stump, and boom, bangs it in for a 2 as well. Good putt.
Solos.
Yeah, it was a good 2 for both of us. We both had good drives, and it was good to have that.
Yeah.
So now moving on to hole 9. 9 it's uphill. Obviously, can't you tell?
It's a hole. It's uphill.
Yeah, because you would literally follow. You can see the path. You follow the path up there, but then the basket is actually slightly to the left. Now this one is 326 feet, par 3, obviously. My shot, I had initially planned to just let it pan out in like hard right turn. It did not do that. It didn't land in a terrible spot, but again, that's why you have partner golf. You kind of let your, you see that you didn't, throw a very good shot. Your partner hopefully will back you up. And Sam actually had a pretty good shot on that hole too. So, once we walk up this treacherous hill, as you can see where we ended up lying there, we're still a good ways away from the basket. Probably not the most ideal position because it does drop off behind that basket. So you got to think, okay, do you want to make a slight run at it? Do we just lay up? What do we do? So
You run it.
you
It's
run
partner
it.
golf.
Yeah. I tried to give it a little bit of a half go. And then you got Sam here that's, he's going for it, obviously. Banged it in for a 2,
Got
a
it,
killer putt. No complaints there. So this is where Ronnie and Brandon landed, and
Nice.
boom,
Good one.
another killer putt. So we, from
We were tied. I'm pretty sure going
I
on this
think
hole.
we were tied going in that hole. I mean, can't complain about 2 birdies on a hole like that.
No. So this hole 10, 340 feet, par 3. And this hole, I mean, it's straight and it does go off to the left. The first round we played this hole actually pretty well. It does play longer than you would think. Jennifer, of course, trying to throw her justice, and I go with a PD. And she had a pretty good shot. She was in the middle of the fairway, so I basically ran it. But really, just fatigue was killing me at certain parts, especially after walking up that hill. And I basically threw mine right into the ground. Ronnie and Brandon, they both had good shots. Again, you're just trying to throw straight. And then let it come almost a soft left. You don't want it to crash hard to the left. But it's a really
Seriously.
not a technical hole, but it is a placement hole. So you do want to make sure you hit your line. It was a little thick out there, of course, because it's end of spring, been raining quite a bit. And Jennifer, you can see she landed right in a brush pile. And we're, maybe 90 feet out.
Par 2.
So she does, of course, another patent pending with her Keystone. And basically, she's giving it a half-go bid. I'm pulling out my Scooby, or as Brody says, is a Scoober. I throw these actually quite a bit and had actually a pretty good look. It did hit pretty low, like almost the pin. So we were parked as far as going for the par shot. And they had a jump putt. So they did have a really good look at it. You'll see here, it's a nice bid. But again, just coming up short on putts. And that's basically the way the round went. They putted really well for most of the round. And just had moments. So basically, partner golf, he's running it, but unfortunately hit a tree and it rolled back towards them. So you'll see here, we're all basically parked.
Funny story about that is I wanted to do the first hand view of putting, and I had misplaced my disc, and actually my disc was closer. Oh goodness. All right, so hole 11, we finally come to the end. This was our last hole, 170 feet. As you can see, it is another slightly uphill to the left. It's a very short distance hole, but definitely birdieable. I threw my justice on that shot, and I just, after it goes over the hill, you really don't know where it's going. So I was just hoping that mine panned out because, as you saw, Sam just threw to the side of the hill. He was done by that point. Like, I think he had used all of the energy he had left. So we were kind of banking on my shot. Ronnie had a really good shot on this as well. I don't remember if it was his or Brandon's, but one of them went a little bit long. But for the most part, your main goal is really just get up and over that hill, which 3 out of 4 of us did that. Okay.
I was tired.
Yeah.
And if you look at her watch, it was right around 10 miles is what we had walked.
Yeah,
in 2 rounds.
we were pretty much at like 23,000 steps and 10 miles, and so I didn't know where my disc was until I got up there, and I was parked. So I was pretty stoked about that because I wasn't really sure. When I released it, I had an idea that it was, at least up there around the basket. But until Ronnie went up there and was like, "Hey, purple disc, you're parked, no problem." So, those are good feelings, especially when you can't see the basket and you go with what you think is going to be a good shot. You go with your gut and it works out for you.
Right. Yeah. So at the end of it, we had shot a 47, which was 8 down. There was one par 4, so it was a par 55. They shot 7 down, so they shot a 48. We did beat them by 1. Unfortunately, they paid top 4 teams, and we were 5th by 1 stroke. And we missed winning by, I think it was like 2 or 3 strokes. Yeah. So it was a really good event. Mickey Pennington had put it on, and a lot of people signed up. It was really good weather. We did really good with social distancing. Basically we just hung out with our doubles partners and we stayed by the car. We brought our food, so we didn't really have to go out and get anything to eat. Overall, really good event. It was all done via PayPal. Scoreboard was done online, so there wasn't really any gathering of anyone. So yeah, it was a really, really good event. But we appreciate you guys checking out the channel. And some of you might actually just be watching the video because it's Holler in the Hills. Sorry you had to watch us play, but we're two avid disc golfers who shot 8 down on a course we had only seen once. So I'm not going to say it's a hard course. I will say that I would recommend it. It is technically a private course, so definitely check out Disc Golf Scene. It'll tell you how to get there or who to call maybe to set up a tee time. They do ask, I believe, for a donation if you do go and play. So definitely do that and check it out. So, all right, guys. We'll see you next time.
I hope you enjoyed our nice commentation. Like I said, it's our first time, so just bear with us. But we hope you enjoyed watching us fling some discs, and we'll see you next time.
That's Tyler and Jacob. Say hi, guys.
Yeah.
What up? How you feeling?
Great, exhausted.
Exhausted. Hot one, right?
Dude, we're done.
Did you pack enough water? That's the question.
No, you can.
Nah.
No one packs enough water.
But it wasn't.
Yeah.
I feel you. See,
just thought
even
the
they don't
trucking
bring
is
enough water either.
like something.
Say bye, guys.
Bye.
I guess.